I think we're live.
Right.
We are live, and hopefully the sound is better. We got rid of some speakers, so we're trying to figure out what. Yeah. So the cool thing is we do have an email supposed to read. Hi. We're supposed to answer this live if we could. So.
Oh, well, all right. How about we move this where, like that?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
All right. Do you want me to read it, or you?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi guys.
Neither one of us can see.
Oh. Hi guys. So I watch your channel and enjoy and benefit greatly from your work that you do. I have a twin flame related question, and I was wondering if you guys could help me. I met my twin flame about a year ago, and we have not been in contact since November of last year. I feel him all the time, and it's been hard for me to move on because of this. There's often sensations that I can't explain. For example, one night last month, I was meditating. It was a basic open your chakras meditation on YouTube, and I could feel him. Then all of a sudden, I felt like I was being penetrated. This feeling was accompanied by a burning and tingling sensation. Ooh. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Christy. Michelle, Christy, sorry. One of the coaches. Actually, let me do this. Yeah. Oh, okay. This day? Okay.
Hi, Coach.
My question is, what is this? Why is this happening? And what do I do with these occurrences going forward? Any help would be greatly appreciated. And I do truly enjoy learning from you guys. Thank you. Much love. Also, I'm sometimes randomly aroused when I think about him, even when it's nothing inappropriate. Would this arousal be biological or is it spiritual? Thank you again. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Wow. I where do you begin with this one?
Man, oh man.
Right.
It's happened to me. Is it happened to you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Oh, actually, recently. So yeah, absolutely. But we don't have to go there just yet. So
I wanted to. All right.
Well, this is a rated PG show.
I think it happens two ways. Let me try to help with this, and maybe you can translate it.
Okay.
Right. It depends on, is it a negative? Okay. Here, there's a difference. I have felt you and me together.
Yes.
Physically. Without being together physically.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I have felt it. I've experienced it all the way through.
Okay.
I have also felt, when we were in separation, you with someone else.
Yes.
So.
And that's been in reverse too. I've experienced both as well. So being that there is not really any, and I hate to go scientific and all those things, but there's literally a lot out there that we don't realize the human body is capable of. And I think we're starting to realize that we've been trained not to. So it's almost like now we've got to learn in the reverse that there are certain things about connection that actually make more sense. Being able to feel another person that you are connected to, that you're in love with, that you have all of these emotions and feelings for, it's very possible. And then there's the way we don't communicate about it. Do you understand what I mean? We don't really, you don't walk around telling somebody you feel somebody on the inside because they would look at you strange, which is probably one of the biggest things that happens in this connection, is trying to get somebody to understand something they don't really necessarily understand.
Right.
So
I just don't know what it is.
I think that because when you actually are in alignment with connection to yourself, you actually do start to, especially as you start to realize that there's a connection outside of you that actually kind of vibrates something on the inside of you. I think that's the first step. Then after you finally have accepted it, I believe that you do experience the other person more than you know. Because we experience each other a lot. More so lately. I could have a song in my head and you'll say the song out loud, but this keeps happening a lot. And I'm going, okay. The connections, it never really lessens or goes away. Bells and whistles. It's almost as though some of those experiences that we actually have, I think for both of us at this point, it's become the new normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not well, maybe the new normal. But new normal for us has been years now. So
it's a new normal every day. It is. Like here's I'm gonna break it all the way down, I guess. Why not? It's Labor Day.
Yeah.
Might as well do some laboring.
Right.
Oh man, I'm gonna. Lee and I met, and it was
magnetic.
Yeah, I guess there's no other way to say it. It was exciting. It was amazing. It was full of butterflies and it was full of butterflies and excitement and mystery and romance and passion and expectation,
right,
and hopefulness and freedom, and it brought out self-worth. It brought out unconditional love. It brought out so many different things, right? It's the most interesting thing that you guys have heard me talk about my box a million times, right? And that's the only way I can analogize it, is this box that's in me, right? And sometimes I lift the lid, sometimes I lock the lid, sometimes I can leave it half open. I've discussed it a million times. Inside that lid, on the inside of the lid, is a list of, I used to call it rules, right? Is a list of rules. My husband has to, you're right, you're 12, you do that. And, but I guess one of my main rules, right, when I'm 9, 10, right? And Ken and Barbie, and they're kissing, and I'm dressing them in wedding clothes and shit, and throwing them down and playing with, Yoda and Jabba the Hutt, and all kinds. Sometimes
Did you say Yoda and Jabba the Hutt?
Luke Skywalker married Barbie. He did.
Did you say Yoda and Jabba?
Yeah,
in the same space?
Yes. Listen, my Luke Skywalker married my Barbie at one point in time.
Okay.
Yeah. Han Solo is my favorite. Anyway.
I don't know how we got
Okay.
with this.
So, right. So, as kids, we have dreams, especially in the feminine energy. We do. If you watch Friends, she's been planning this her whole life. We do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But part of my rules or my regulations when I was young for my husband was with this magical, what did I call it? Magical big love that I had, which was different than everybody else's big love. It wasn't the same.
Right.
Because my love went deeper and stronger, and it was different. I knew this from a small child, right? I knew this from a small child. And she's chilling on a cord back there. It's fine. We have a little problem going on.
I'm not chasing a rabbit during the video. Let me get that.
It's awesome.
All right.
But anyway, so inside that box on the lid, it said, never, ever, ever will real life problems get in the way of my relationship.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is I didn't want a relationship at all.
No.
I wanted a union. I didn't know how to express that at that time. But what I didn't realize also was we, unfortunately, and I say that with every ounce of my being, have to live in this 3D world at the moment, right? So we try to live these 5D lives in this 3D world, and they do not get along, right? It's living consciously in your mind.
Right.
Does that make sense? Trying to live consciously in your mind. And God bless you, everybody that can do that. All you monks out there, you're amazing. I don't know how you do. Believe me, I've tried. Okay. I just don't. We've all tried. Come on, we've tried, and it's just hard. It's harder, I'm sure, for us, for a reason. It's not a negative thing. It's for a reason. It's because we are going through things. As we go through things, people come to us after we've gone through it with the same thing that we just gone through. It's like the universe sends us those people knowing that we've gone through it, even if it was just recently, right? They send them, the universe sends them our way, and all of a sudden we are now teaching from what we just had to learn ourselves. And it's interesting to me, and sometimes makes me really angry at the universe as to why I have to be the one learning the lessons, because they suck sometimes, right? And I mean, I get it. I do get it, right? Because it is much easier to separate. It is much easier to walk away.
That was powerful.
It's so much easier just to say, screw it, and walk away, because there's so much 3D stuff and so much 5D stuff, right? And then you've got two people who are the same.
Heck?
What happened?
11:11 skipped like twice just now. It actually went 11.
I must have been
twice.
on the side.
I don't know what that was about, but it just, I guess that's where you're supposed to rewind to hear Sherry preach, because she's
I'm doing a whole sermon.
It's so much easier.
I don't mean to do a sermon, but
Go ahead.
But it just is. It's just very hard. And there are times when you and I have even been like, this is fucking too hard. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like this. And then the universe says, yes, it should. It has to be. Because you can't teach others until you've gone through it yourself.
Absolutely.
And that sucks for us. But then again, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't make me... what it does is put me into more self-reflection these days. I'm telling you, I'm not even gonna lie. 5 years ago, I would never have been like, well, I need to self-reflect, because 5 years ago, I'd have been like, you need to do some self-reflection. Right? And then, so anymore now, I'm like, okay, he clearly needs to do some self-reflection, but I do too. I need to do some self-reflection. And I'm going back and I'm going, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why am I acting and reacting like this? What is the problem here? Right? In me that can help the problem isn't in general. Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
Am I making sense? How have I contributed to the conflict? Because it takes two, right? I'm going to focus on how you've contributed to the conflict.
It's easier to do that with
Because
somebody
it's
outside of you.
easier to do that because I am clear and enlightened and awake and aware and spiritually evolved to a place where there are times you cannot touch me. That is the problem.
444.
Okay.
So anyway,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It gets to the point where I'm like, it's you. It's you. It's you.
It's always been me.
And it's oh, I'm about to tell you it's us. I'm about to lay that out.
Well,
because it is.
It's the coming together in connection that actually causes a lot of it, because we've gone to a really deeper place that, you know, we could sit here and try to tell them how deep we are, but they really don't get the idea of what depth really is, because you really don't find that anywhere.
Right.
And this connection brings out a depth and points to your depth and points at what's possible inside of that depth. It's really never been about, well, you're going to be who I've always dreamed somebody was going to be for me. And literally that's where the conflict really kind of starts.
Right.
Because you're not listening to me. You're not doing what I thought you were going to do. You know, the person I had in my head when you came to me and I felt this connection is not who you're showing up to be. And now I'm against you, which is really, it's always been that. That's been one of the biggest hurdles in this connection to overcome. Because I kept telling myself who I needed to be for you. And then I kept trying to show up that way, and it was a disaster. It literally turns into a complete disaster because you want the other person, you want what's best for the other person, and somehow, some way, you don't realize you're telling yourself it's not you. So that's why we always see this fear where people split apart. Separation is not necessary.
Right.
But separation is gonna happen because you're already separated inside yourself. And that's usually where it becomes really hard.
Usually everything, I'm going to say usually, but everything I attack you with is inside of me.
Absolutely.
Everything I attack you with.
No doubt.
Little help here.
No. We need to start reading some questions.
I know. We're going to get your questions, I promise. But we're having intense fellowship. but there are here's the interesting thing. There are times when even you and I have said, you know what, we this is too much. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot, right? But here's the catch
It's
here.
easy to unplug.
It's easy to unplug. It's very easy to unplug. Who is out there teaching how to survive in this 3D freaking world in a 5D connection? It's freaking hard, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's relying on the 5D connection to get you through the 3D bullshit.
It is relying on somebody telling you that what the other person is doing. It's relying on you telling yourself what the other person is doing, where you don't have any responsibility to claim for yourself. And literally that happens more times than not. And it's a very painful thing because nobody's really kind of showing you the ways to go inside to resolve the issue of what you can experience outside. They'd rather just try to move away from it.
Right.
Because it's best to tell you what not to do and tell you to run away from them, that you would be in the right for that. And when you start running away from that person, what feels right all of a sudden doesn't feel so right at all. And it is so, it's so painful to watch. And we feel that pain when we're actually talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Because we've experienced it. But
we know what it feels like.
We know what it feels like.
It being empathic, we can feel their pain when we're talking to them. But isn't it funny how we, in so many videos you'll hear us saying we're together all the time, but we're not codependent. The last conflict that we had, I thought, for Christ's sake, for heaven's, for Pete's sake,
Pete. Sorry, Pete. I hope you're not a twin that really holds vengeance.
I forgot what I was saying.
For Pete's sake, yes. But
no, what was I talking about? I was talking. Oh no. I had to stop and think. For Pete's sake, have I become codependent in physical? Right?
Yeah.
And I had to stop and backtrack a little bit and be like, okay. And we did that. We backtracked a little bit.
Absolutely.
And said, wait a minute. We don't want to be codependent. We want to be connected. Right? Now, don't get us wrong. We don't have to be together to be connected. We're just choosing to fight the battle. We're choosing to continue to go. The harder it gets, the more we're fighting. The harder it gets, the more we're battling through this connection to get to the other side, whatever that other side is, wherever that other side, if there's another side.
We obtain the other side quite a bit.
And
I think we stand more on the other side than the side, because once you get used to being separate, you get used to being separate, and you don't realize you haven't created any space for connection to show up, especially if you're not doing work on connecting to yourself. So what happens is even though you have that separateness and it spans over a period of time, and then you start telling yourself, well, they're off doing whatever they're doing. Meanwhile, what really happens is you think when they come to you, you're going to be happy.
Right.
And this is kind of one of the big things that we realize between us. I have to do things to make me happy. She has to do things to make her happy. Then we come together. It never works any other way. It ends up being a clash or a conflict or something bigger than it needs to be. But when we follow it all the way back again, it usually falls back in a space where she doesn't see me happy if I'm walking around like this all the time. And it's because I'm not doing anything to make me happy. Right. But you start to take on that responsibility. That's codependence.
Yeah.
And that's literally one of the things that I think hurts all connections. And you didn't learn it in this connection. This connection is going to bring it out of you, and it's going to show you where you learned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily the other person's fault, but that's the person you have to separate from, or at least that's what you're telling yourself, or people are telling you. And you end up in the separate field because there's actually a community of separation. There's not a community of togetherness. Somebody needs to fix this at some point, and I think it's going to have to be us. Connection, you guys need to have a place where you can come after you've gotten there, during while you're there, because we've seen it all. Mm-hmm. I don't think, we're not out here telling you it's easy. We're telling you there are certain things you're going to have to understand before you can understand what you're seeing.
Right.
Me and her being together in this space, we're telling you there is a lot to it. It's not just we come on here and we own a business and we everything comes up roses and everything. There is a beautiful part of connection where you literally can be connected to someone who looks at you without the eyes of judgment, because they stop looking at themselves with the eyes of judgment. Mm-hmm. This is the most powerful part of the connection, and it's yours. You don't even know how to own it. You don't even know how to embrace it. You don't know how to put your arms around it. It's a very trying thing because you have to get through all your judgment to get to it.
Right.
And that's what you had in the very beginning. That was the bubble phase, wasn't it?
Oh.
No judgment. Oh, somebody who really wants to know everything about it, and you go ahead and you let it all out. And then after a period of time, oh, you're holding that thing that I told you about against me. It was one of my worst times. And you fall down a slippery slope because you don't see it. You think the other person's going to see it for you, but literally you can't take your eyes off yourself, let alone the person you're connected to.
And you're not talking about it.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. Part of the problem, let's say 90% of the problem is communication. I want to get to answer some questions, but I want to touch on this first. I feel that in the best way to communicate, honestly, if you feel a conflict coming on, I know that it empties, and emptying is important. Okay? Emptying is very important of the stuff that you shove down, right? Of how you're feeling in that moment. And it may not be how you're feeling in the next moment or the next moment or the moment before. You may not have felt that again, right? But I feel like everybody while they're feeling that angst and that anger and that resentment and those things, and it doesn't mean you've resented them their whole life and you're going to resent them their whole life. In that moment, you feel those things, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like if everybody can take 15 minutes before the conflict, right? 15 minutes before the conflict, and let the other person sit in front of them and say, here, I need to empty, right? Because this is what I'm feeling in this moment. Mm-hmm. You're unresponsive. You've abandoned me. That was a dick move. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. You've hurt me this way. You've hurt me that way. You've hurt me this way. Right? You're disrespectful. Mm-hmm. You're angry. You're mean and hateful.
Yes.
And you make that ugly face. Okay? That's not it. No. Well,
I give up. I don't know how to have
But if we could just empty for 15 minutes and be like, okay, that's not what she was feeling. That's not what she is feeling. That what she was feeling in that moment, and she's emptied it. Now she has an open heart, a clean mind, because all that trash is dirtying your mind, and you just need to get that out and have the other person not take it personally. Just know that that's what they were feeling in that moment. Okay, let's discuss how you feel like I abandoned you, how you feel like that was a dick move. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you feel like I've done this. And then I'll tell you my perspective. And then we can get through it.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not what happens.
Here's the thing. It can happen. And when it does happen, I find myself having to ground myself. Not necessarily I'd have to ground in a way that, okay, I've got to sit here and be very spiritual. I have to go, okay, empty everything that you want to say is going to be a trigger in you now.
Right. In you now.
Because if I can't listen to everything you're saying, I'm going to end up attacking.
Right.
I'm going to end up not hearing anything you said, not listening to anything you said. Mm-hmm. And we don't even do that as a community, let alone as a connection.
That dumping would cure all that.
But the dumping would cure it. But the dumping is also something that some people go, well, what am I supposed to be, a punching bag for the person? No. You don't have to take on their energy.
Right.
You don't have to be the person that they're venting about. You literally have to realize that you have to remove yourself as a human being to listen to a human being.
Right.
Because that's one of the things that we don't do. And we all have this great ability. It's almost like we're all walking around with this gift of being able to listen to people we love, people we're connected to, but we all dump everything. I mean, and it's like you said, if it builds up, you're already disconnected anyway. You can't approach somebody with an open heart if your heart's going to be closed when they have to talk to you.
Right.
And we realized that was one of our big ahas, is like, you know what, if we're in that space, I have to open my heart and have to sit and allow whatever you're saying to go in and go through. Not go in, get trapped, and then wait a little bit of time, then to attack. Because that makes no sense whatsoever.
Many times.
It contaminates me in connection to myself and contaminates us in connection.
Yeah.
And then you're contaminated. Next thing you know, we're walking around looking for zombies to shoot, which is one another. And we literally are the Walking Dead for all of, a couple of seasons. And we don't even need those seasons. Not really, because we have no reasons to keep the seasons. So what we're really trying to tell you here is one of the best things you can do is communicate. But in communication, one has to be the listener, one has to be the talker.
How many times have I said in conflict, and it's one of my favorite go-tos, and I don't know why, it just comes out. Lee, you cannot hear me if you're talking.
Okay. No,
I use that
That's
too.
not my favorite.
I use
that's
that
not
too.
my favorite. My favorite is that she always has this
I love
one
that.
particular nail she nails into it. I can't talk to you because you're going to get triggered. And it's like, you know what? She predetermines an outcome. She's in the future. I don't have to join her in the future, wherever she's at. I can wait for her to come back and realize that she just talked about something in the future that she sees as happening that I don't have to participate in. Most of the time, well, before I used to take that on and go, you know what? I guess I'm going to have to sit here and be the, just be the tough one in this one, and realize that, no, I need to stand up and tell you, you can't tell me what I'll be triggered in and what I won't. And I realized that was a thought pattern in me that I no longer need. And it's a hard one to see because you don't really investigate your connection to yourself before you investigate this connection. And if you're not investigating, you literally are in prison while you're yelling at the other person to come in and get in the prison with you, and they're not going to do that. It's hard to do. So
let's answer some questions.
Okay,
let's start from the beginning.
Oh, geez, we got to go back.
Let's answer some
You
questions.
guys have just been sitting here.
We talked for 27 minutes, so I guess it's time to answer some questions. We just got on the pulpit and started preaching.
Michelle, Christy, hopefully you're still there. She's one of our coaches. She'll be moderating for us. Hopefully, thank you. You'll
just
know.
refer to potential twin to your channel. Thank you very much. You guys are the best coaches out there. We do what we can. We're universal led. That's all.
Yeah, we're going to tell you from an open heart.
Yep. Hey, you guys, what's going on? Hope everyone is doing okay. I'm preparing for the storm. We are not south. We are north. We're in Ohio, actually. Yes. So we'll probably get some rain or something from it. But we do have a lot of clients. By the way, one of our coaches, Michelle.
A couple of coaches.
Oh, we do have a couple of coaches.
Yeah.
We have a couple of coaches. I know Michelle's right in the path of it.
Yeah.
I know that we got
Trevor and Eileen
are down there.
Sending you guys love.
Yeah, they're great friends of ours. We've got my uncles down there. We've got Carrie is another one of our coaches down there. We've got some coaches down there. So
just be safe.
Be safe, everybody. And that storm's looking kind of ugly.
Yeah. How can you stop people from not liking your twin? Things they did in the past still rubs them wrong, even though you have forgiven them.
Here it is. You're gonna have to accept that they don't accept them.
Well,
it's because if you don't, you can't force somebody else.
Yes.
And not your circus, not your mom. You know what I'm saying? It just other people's opinions, and even if your brother, by the way, I love his brother. He's freaking awesome. Sometimes he's even nicer than me. But
wow.
Your brother doesn't have a mean bone in his body, but he's pretty cute when he gets mad. You know what I mean? When he gets mad, I have to go into another room sometime and be like,
Okay.
it's but I've seen him pissed mad, and that's not funny.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. But I don't know where I was going with that.
The past. The
Oh
past
yeah,
still rubs
yeah.
them
If
wrong.
he hated me and didn't like me, right? And I've done some shit. Let's keep it real, right? And he's seen me hurt you in ways that you've never been hurt. He's seen you break down in ways you've never broke down because of something that happened between us.
Right.
Right. He has every reason not to
Mhm.
care about me.
Right.
And he does, and he's awesome. But at there's a point in time when you really have to make sure that you are happy with yourself and okay with who you are,
Mhm.
and the fact that you've forgiven yourself for anything that needs to be forgiven for,
Right.
and that you've forgiven the one that you're with for anything that's happened,
Mhm.
and that other person, if they're going to bring toxicity into that relationship or union, right, the other person's going to have to be put on the back burner, even if it's a parent, a brother, or sister. I don't talk to my sisters very much. We don't have conflict. We have very different lifestyles, right? I do talk to them on occasion. It's great conversations, right? They don't disapprove of you. You're right. They cannot understand our lifestyle,
Right.
right? Our lifestyle bothers them. It makes them uncomfortable because we're so open and honest with each other a lot of the times, and we're still loving on each other. And that's not a 3D thing to do. The honeymoon stage should still be, or should be over and long gone.
Right.
Right. I should be out there drinking with them.
Right. Yeah.
The things I'm doing are different
Mhm.
than what they've seen from me before.
Right.
Right. So they're unaccepting of the fact that we're in this office all the time. And when people are in our home, when they come here, it's uncomfortable. Right. Because confidentiality is very, very important to us. So my family stopped coming a lot because it was uncomfortable, because we talk to people and confidentiality is very important to us. So we won't entertain, right?
Mhm.
Or come out of the office. It's our job. It's what we do. A lot of people will not like the person you're with due to race, where they born, where they come from, their belief systems,
Mhm.
how they look,
Right.
how they talk, so many different things. It's judgmental. And when I indicate a little bit of judgmental in somebody, they're already out of my circle.
Mm.
They're already out of my circle.
One of the hardest things to do, though, is when we go to people because things happen to us and then it becomes a past moment. It becomes a past thing that happened. We don't go back and recollect. So what happens is they only have the taste that they're going to have because you gave them a whole drink of the past,
Right.
but you never gave them a whole drink of the now. And they'll literally keep drinking the past, watching you going, well, that's not the shit that brought you to me, right? And so you're going to go back to this. The thing about things that you do in the past and the way that you got hurt in the past and the way that you've hurt others in the past, at some point you're going to have to realize that it was once a now then too. So you're going to have to realize that, do you love who you were then that went through that, or are you not loving who you went through that? So I would ask the one question about this. They did things they did in the past that still rubs them wrong. What they're experiencing is too much past and not enough presence. In other words, you're letting them sit there and see what the past was, but you're not bringing forth who they are now, who you actually have found a space to forget. The past is a very interesting thing because it's not real. I mean, we all have a story to tell, but it's all relative to the illusion or the memories of something that was, not something that is. So what ends up happening is we hold that over people's heads. We tell ourselves they cannot change. They will not change. They're going to be this horrible person who was stuck in this space in this time. And we literally put people in their own time machine when it comes to the past. And then we tell ourselves they'll never, ever escape that. And us, they don't escape it. So we end up suffering a lot longer than they do. So what's the point? What's the point of holding on to the past? What is the past really? I mean, if it rubs them the wrong way, if he's done any kind of work, if they've done kind of work and let them actually experience those people now, it might actually change things. But sometimes those things need to be talked about. We actually have sat down and talked a lot about our past with family members, with people who were hurt by it. And literally the way we live now tells us whether we really forgave ourselves for that, and they can forgive us too. That's what's missing. How can they see that this person has forgiven themselves for the past that they had by how they show up with them now?
And to touch on our question a little bit is, how can you stop people from not liking your twin? I don't think you can stop anybody from doing anything that they do. You have to accept the fact that it is what it is. And you don't have to be in that energy.
No.
And if it's somebody who really loves and cares about you, they will see the way your energy changes when you're with that person.
They'll see.
And they will
see that outside of that.
And they will eventually get it.
Right.
And it may take years, and that's fine. It may take minutes, who knows? But they will eventually see that your life is being enhanced by this person, and you are not the person that you used to be.
Amen.
So there's nothing to judge by.
True.
Yeah.
I did email you, beautiful people. We will get to that email.
We will, because let me tell you something, child. Look, yeah, I kind of wanted to address this anyway. Lee and I took the weekend. Where usually we do emails and things like that. We have an office manager who usually handles our emails for us and keeps the ones that we have to handle, right? Like I said, we keep confidentiality very seriously, so she doesn't necessarily get she gets emails. If you put too much information on there, she doesn't read the whole email. She just sees who it's from and do we need to address it, and then hits it on to us. So we've got 682 emails that we have to check because we allowed her to have this holiday weekend, or we let her have this holiday weekend to be with her family. And usually her family doesn't live close, so usually she'll come in or work remotely for a couple of hours. But we actually did not schedule any sessions today, which is a Monday. We understand that it's not a holiday all over the world. We have clients all over the world, but we actually wanted to take today to work and to do some things, to come live. We're going to do some recording. We're going to change the energy in the office a little bit and straighten it up. And we've got some new programs we're working on. We're going to talk to you about in a few minutes.
Yes. Michelle?
But we're going to get to your email.
Everything is frequency and energy. Our twin is the same energy as us. That's why we end up feeling what happens to them and vice versa. That's how I understand it. That is absolutely correct, except your thoughts about it are where the issues really kind of rely. I mean, you actually don't see that you can't carry the same thought pattern or the same thought processes as the person you're connected to. This is a huge conflict because then you interpret things through your thought process, thinking it's theirs. And you tell yourself that they probably don't care, they don't find you interesting, they're not in love with you. Literally will go through an entire thing telling yourself they're the ones that spoke to you. And until you get that right, you can't get it right in this connection. It's really easy to do, because we all kind of grew up in homes where we had to tell ourselves why certain things happened inside of ourselves with nobody helping us. So this connection gets that almost 400 times worse. You literally will beat yourself down, beat yourself to death over what you think they think of you. And that actually is where you can start to see the connection and relationship you have to yourself. Hello. Your hair looks beautiful today.
It does. Look at it. Your hair
I
looks
don't
great
think they were
today.
talking about my. Okay.
His hair looks awesome.
Thank you for helping me see that I
Thank
had a
you.
whole individual inside of me I was suppressing. I'm still figuring myself out, but it was really healing to have you guys see through who I thought I was. Who you think you are, who you actually are. Thought can never, ever, ever reach the depth of what you really are. That's for everybody who's found this connection and anybody outside of this connection. We've all been kind of trained to only think in a very small space, and that's usually what we get in this connection, is we think in a very small space. and that small space starts to expand, you start to have issues with the expand because we just like things to be comfortable. And this uncomfortable feeling of expansion is uncomfortable in a lot of different ways. Let's see. You're so cute, Sherry. Oh,
You're cute too.
okay. I love the
I love
vibes. Hi to everybody who said hello. You guys saved my life. How do you get out of the dark night of the soul?
Oh man.
The surrender. Surrender is the first step. Well, actually,
Can I touch on that before you go into too much detail? Because
I'll be simple.
because that statement right there is what brought me out of one of mine. I say one of mine because I've had multiple. I had a 2-year one, by the way. But let's get past that. We got past it, okay. I'm coming up on another one called menopause. let's call that the dark night of the soul. The darkest night of the soul.
Okay, all right.
All
right.
Okay. You and I were in separation.
Mm-hmm.
You were pissed. If you guys have watched our journey, I'm going to take you back. It's the separation where I lost the house. And Lee moved him back in with his brother and Ron. It's great. Anyway, we weren't talking. You were pissed. And I get it. But there was something going on in me, and the only person that I could talk to was you. The only person I knew would get it was you. There was something there. I didn't know it, right? I didn't know what was going on. I know that I was having these dreams, and they was ruining my entire days. And in the dreams, I was fighting myself. Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was literally fighting myself in my dreams. Like, two me's, all in black, fighting.
Yep.
Like in a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, I don't know what I was doing, getting camera, because I think I was living in Ron's truck at the time. But I don't know what I was doing, but I came there, and I somehow we ran into each other. We met each other outside because I really wanted to run this by you or whatever. But we talked about it, and I told you what was going on in my dreams, and you said, Sherry, you have to surrender to her.
Mm-hmm. You
can't keep fighting her.
Nope.
You have to surrender to her. And I was like, what? Well, that sounds like some bullshit, because I really like to beat her ass. And I've really had tried to just wear her out. Right. And I couldn't. And it was literal. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt. So when you told me that, and I fell asleep, I can remember just laying there in fetal position and letting her. I was getting satisfaction from hitting and receiving.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting satisfaction from the hits, from the beat down, and doing the beat down.
Right.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that in there.
So the dark night of the soul is nothing more than an eclipse for your soul. It is going to be everything that you literally go through a purge of negative, positive energy, as a way to put it. Negative thoughts against positive thoughts, or negative just outlook against a positive outlook. All of those actually come to a head, and you have a choice to view them so you can see the thought patterns that they create in you, or don't. What happens most of the time is if you didn't get it all out, or you create a newer way that actually makes you not live with your heart open, you will continuously go through these until you realize that the truth is you don't have to go through a dark night of the soul if you keep your heart open for everything. Yes, I said everything, even the things that hurt, your heart still beats through it. You just don't pay attention. So what's more important to you, living from your heart or your head? Dark night of the soul is what you'll run into if you want to live entirely out of your head. And it will be surrounded by what you're not paying attention to. Usually about what you actually felt, I didn't want to be this way, or I shouldn't have shown up this way, or I shouldn't have did this, or I shouldn't have done that. Shouldas, wouldas, couldas, and all the opposites show up in Dark Night of the Soul. And I believe that there is a space there where you actually can stand back and watch that it's just an internal fight between the side of you that had to go through things and the side of you that didn't want to go through those things. Both of those are just more or less, it's kind of like you got to go through the garbage to find out what you threw in there, right? And usually you find yourself in there and then you pull yourself out and go, who would I have been had I not had these ways of thinking and being? And that's what should arise. If you're not at the surrender stage, it's usually because your mind is making too much noise. I was suddenly guided here, divine timing, first time here. Oh, well, welcome. Yeah, welcome. Do their root camp.
Ooh, root camp's pretty intense.
Root camp's kind of cool. We're going to be doing more root camps here. I think we've got some slots open for that. We are going to be doing a retreat, which we've been talking about.
To spend some time with us personally right here.
Yeah.
In Ohio with us.
Yeah.
In this
sanctuary, you could actually show up, right?
Retreat. We're putting this out on YouTube first. Nobody's heard about this as of yet.
They've heard about it.
We've mentioned that we were going to have one, but we didn't have the details. We have done that. We are doing this the weekend of September 27th through the 29th. The end of the month, this month.
If you're interested in some deep healing, come on, let's do it.
We are going to be doing some,
everything from meditation, yoga, you name it. We're going to be doing that. And plus, more or less sitting in between our connection so you can see yourself in connection will be very powerful. If you've never experienced it, it's we ask a lot of tough questions, but at least you'll find the answers before you realize what it is you're seeking in connection is yourself. First,
definitely the self-connection retreat.
And hopefully,
we're going to connect you to yourself. And we are going to be doing some twin flame discussions. How the self-connection is going to change your twin flame dynamic. We're going to actually have a whole workshop on the twin flame dynamic and how self-reflection comes around to the twin flame dynamic. If you're not a twin flame and you really want to do some self-connection work, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same retreat. We're going to be doing separate workshops, a workshop that revolves around the twin flame dynamic. When it comes
is going to divinely point to
it comes out to self-reflection, self-connection.
The energy here is amazing. If you've never experienced energy where you can actually feel it as soon as you step on the property, you feel it.
If you guys have been here, and some of you have, just post on here. Yeah, Michelle's been here. Kind of touch on the energy that's out here a little bit. It's magical.
Yeah,
it's magical. We're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back around. And we're only taking 8. We're only taking 8 people. So
this is going to be a really intimate retreat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sherry, that is funny, but as we get older, learn more, we learn that it really does not matter what they do. It is in you. Your reaction is yours.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't I know?
Absolutely.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Wow. Damn. You guys are preaching. Thank you so much. So many people teach separation and full union. That's not what we're going to do.
They preach separation versus full union.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
an actual course we're doing on Patreon.
Yeah.
We're starting that next week. And it's
letting go
letting go or holding on, letting go of my twin flame versus holding on.
Yep.
And how to hold on and take what
does holding on mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what does letting go mean? Because you can hold on to the person you're connected to. You need to let go of the shit in your head. And that's a very difficult choice because you think there's conflict with the person you're connected to, but the conflict is the conflict you have in you. So we're going to be doing a lot of work around that.
Yeah. We're only going to be doing that on Patreon, by the way. It's going to be a 4-week course.
Yeah.
And the course is $111. See what we did there? Yep. For 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Plus there's a monthly charge for Patreon, be it $35 or $75. But we're really amping up our Patreon page this month. and going forward and putting some courses out there and doing a lot more videos and things like that. So
yeah.
Let's get on to
But you're right. My twin and I are 5 years in on this journey. He keeps running back to the wife. We're in total separation again. I keep focusing on me, doing my healing. Will my healing heal him?
Certainly. However, you have got to find the patience and the acceptance that he has some things to finish up here, and he has some things and obligations that he has to do over here. I think it's amazing what you're doing, because while he's over here handling this, you're over here handling you, and that's what's most important.
Right.
You're not sitting around waiting. You are doing the work, so that when he does handle his business over here and you two can finally come together in union, that you have that open space and heart space. This course would be perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you would have that space and understanding and know-how, because there are going to be a lot of 3D things that come into play when there is things that's going on over here. Right. And how your connection and dynamic works.
Absolutely. And,
but yes, it will affect him for sure.
Absolutely. Sherry and Lehigh, TF and me are friends only. I've tried to give unconditional love and forgiveness to the person. He also did that to me while we have healed, but now I feel I need to give that first.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Where and what is the other side? Boy, do we wish we knew. I don't know. I think when I think about the other side, and we were talking about the other side earlier, it's not a place of one stop. It's a get to the other side of this conflict, get to the other side of this bill, get to the other side of this feeling, get to the other side of this emotion, get to the other side of this trip. Let's get to the other side of where we're starting from. I think it's a constant journey of getting to the other side. But when we talk about the spiritual realm of the other side, I have no clue. I know that there's something there because I'm a medium and I do hear voices, but I don't know.
You and I do know. We just need to say it like it is. You and I have both realized that when we realize we're there already,
right,
everything shows up.
When
one of us steps back and says, we're not, one of us decides to be selfish and go, that person's not ready.
Yeah.
This one over here. Then we end up going, it ends up falling apart. But it literally is a feeling. You have to step in the feeling. We have to actually meet each other in that feeling. Agree. I could say to her, hey, we could do this if we realize we already did it. And it's literally, I know that sounds funny, but the truth is that's how things actually get to the space where they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You start showing up like it was already there. You already feel like it's already happened. You already feel that it's already part of you. Once you've done that, you pretty much get there. I had a huge fight with my husband, and a lot was said, at least for me. Yes, Lee, it hurts all connections. Amen.
A lot said.
Well, we're trying to catch up, so hopefully we can. He told me he loses control when he's with me. Is it possible that he's afraid to love me? I see how he lights up when we are together. We get close and he runs. It's like a battle in his mind. I have a question about every question you ask.
And I have a comment. Okay, go ahead. Let's get started with the question. Well,
my question is why did you tell us all about him? Why don't you tell us about you?
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why.
Yes.
I'm totally resonating with what she's saying, right? And there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
In recent conflicts and conversations and situations and scenarios that you and I have been involved in personally,
okay,
over the past, let's say, 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just go with 8 months. I don't know the number.
Okay.
There have been, I got to get to this part in the question that I'm going. Okay.
This here?
Yeah. There have been times when literally in this amount of time that I've wondered what the hell was wrong with me. Right. And then, I have very spiritual dreams and dream journeys and voices and so much stuff. But what I was told and how it resonated with me it was true. Where I went to sleep one night, I was meditating, right? And I have to fall asleep in the middle of meditation, whether it's like listening to music or whatever. But I realized that I have never really let anybody totally love me, right?
Right.
There are levels of fences. There are levels of, what are those things on Mario Kart that you have to jump?
Oh.
Okay. There are locks and bolts and all this shit, even sometimes now,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
When it comes to trust, when it comes to all kinds of things, I had to be told and then had to realize and accept the fact that I don't know how to let you love me.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And that's a barrier.
Mhm.
That's a big thing. And it goes both ways. I'm afraid. I think we all are. I think we all get afraid. I'm afraid to love you completely, right? Without a guard. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I find that,
Mhm.
and it's odd to me because I do love you so unconditionally that.
But that sounds like a condition.
It does. It does. It definitely does. But I'm gonna bring it around.
Okay.
But I do love you so unconditionally that in anything, you know what I mean? I know, especially now after we've been through everything that we've been through, that we can pretty much get through any damn thing, even death. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We can get through it.
Right.
But there's a sense of humanness that gets involved, right? And it sucks, but it is, right? Because there's so much hurt and pain when it comes to this humanness that we have to, we don't want to feel it. Who wants to feel that? Right? Who wants to feel that?
Right.
And oftentimes when we're in conflict, I'll come to you and I'll say, of all people, you were the one that I didn't think would do this. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because there's that expectation, that level of spirituality or unconditional love.
But is that because of your shield?
Every time.
Because
yes.
if it's not flow through, then it's going to have
right.
some block or some dam
For
that
sure.
doesn't allow water to come
Dam
over.
is it. Yeah.
There's a dam. There's always
For
going to
sure.
be a dam there.
Mm-hmm.
And the dam that when we love one another, when you actually are in connection and you love someone, you try to disassemble the dam, or you think the other person's going to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, it's built from the inside. It's not built from the outside. This is one of those dams that, damn it, you just can't.
Right.
You've lessened and weakened a lot of your dams, and a lot of them don't even exist anymore. And
right.
well, I'm being truthful.
No, for real.
You literally have to get a dam,
right,
in order for a dam to disappear. So what happened? In this connection, we're going to be shown and tested that love is going to be messy. Love is going to have all kinds of things attached to it, even things that we don't necessarily see, or things we don't want to see. But there's going to be a pathway for you to choose and still come through with that love.
Right.
And it's hard to do because, it's kind of like this example here, which is, is it possible that he's afraid to love me? She's, I think in this space, afraid to love me is also a fear if he's not going to be able to love me all the way. So how do you actually go through that?
And it could be a
yourself?
self-reflection. Is she afraid to love him?
So he may light up, but then as soon as she goes, why is he lighting up with me? What is it about me? What do
exactly.
do I have to maintain this for the rest of my life? If I have to maintain this kind of energy.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
This connection shows up and it does that to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
She feels this good about being with me now.
Why does he want to be with me?
Right.
Like we do that with our twins, like, because it's true. We see our twins as these magnificent, connected beings, and they're still human.
You put them on higher self.
Yes, you do. You do. Yeah, you do.
I don't understand. I still have a problem with this. You always want to, higher self is always something you're pointing to outside of you, where inner self inside of you is being abandoned by you pointing up something. It takes one step in this journey to go inside, and it takes 1,000 outside.
Yeah.
And literally, we all want to take that 1,000 step and not even take that one single step. And that's what brings everything to you to begin with.
Kane Brown does it. So shout out to Kane Brown.
Kane Brown. Love Kane Brown.
Does a song called "Good as You."
Yeah.
And it brings me to the point where I just want to be good as you.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is kind of, we see a lot of this. He won't reach out to me, dead silence.
Yeah. Hey, so, that's a coach.
No, that's Davis.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So no, it's very similar.
It's very similar.
But he won't reach out to me. So then it's kind of like what we've been working with one specific twin who literally keeps going, okay, she stopped talking to me. And he doesn't, it's like 5 days later, and it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Why did you let one day go past? Because if communication is only going to be as strong as how you communicate to and communicate from. So if communication goes into a silent state, it's not a waiting game. It's actually somebody has to make sure that there's a space for sound.
Sure.
And if nobody's testing it, everybody's going to experience what they call dead silence.
We have gone on for an hour. Do we stay another 15 minutes or do we?
We stay another 11 minutes.
Okay. And we're going to be here. We're not going to
10 minutes.
We're not going to take your whole day.
No, they probably are.
But we may come back later if you want us to.
Yes.
An
orange glow keeps coming in your vid tonight.
Who knows what?
There's actually been an energy going throughout this house for a minute.
But it's awesome.
We have a couple of things coming up. We've got Softball with the Stars. We're doing a reality event.
Softball with the Stars.
If you're in Ohio, if you guys want to come, it's going to be a fun
Indiana
time.
Or Kentucky or anywhere close to West Virginia, Pittsburgh, any place for a road trip.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's not this coming weekend,
it's
but the
fundraiser
weekend
for St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of reality stars coming in from your favorite shows like Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, Naked and Afraid, those types of things. If you're a reality TV person, we have awesome reality TV stars. If you visit softballwiththestars.com, you can see all the reality stars attending. It's going to be a full day of softball, playing softball with the stars. You can, all kinds of big names coming. So we're holding that in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be in Chicago, Illinois. That's not true. Aurora, Illinois, the weekend of November 15th through the 17th.
We'll be doing that with Dio.
We are coming to do a Twin Flame workshop. We are guesting as speakers at his event. You can check it out at Twin Flame Workshop, November 15th through 17th. 2019 is what it's called. We'll post the link here. It's on Facebook, Twin Flame Workshop. That is hosted by, I do not know how to pronounce his last name. I love the guy. Veselino.
Okay.
I chopped it up.
He's just said Dio.
Dio.
Everybody knows about
Dio.
Yeah.
So he's going to be putting this together, and we're coming to guest.
Very powerful, beautiful soul.
To guest speak in Chicago. I guess it's close to Chicago.
Yeah.
So all of our Chicago people, we hope to see you out there. If you would like to come and visit Lee and Sherry in our home and have this retreat the weekend of February 17th through the 29th. That's a lie. 27th through the 29th. September 27th through the 29th. We will be, you'll have to take care of your flight. We will handle all of your transportation to and from here. Your lodging and all your food and beverages will be provided, and workshops and everything. It's one cost of $111 plus your flight, whatever that is, or if you drive it.
Is that?
No, that's not it. That's not it. $750 for the retreat.
Yes.
$111 for the
4-week course.
4-week course.
The 4-week course will be it'll be through Patreon, but we will be hosting it in Zoom, so people can actually join through Zoom. If they don't want to do the Patreon, they can actually pay the $111 and still go.
Yeah, and still go. Right.
But the classes will be real time with both of us, so that'll be nobody will see it. So if you're interested in that, info@relationshipreinvented.com.
And same with the retreat. Retreat $750 for 3 days. That includes your lodging, all your food, all the workshops and classes. We're going to be doing some meditations and actually some water meditations too. We have a heated pool, so we're gonna do some things, walking, meditation, all kinds of really cool things. So if you're interested in the retreat, we're only taking 8. So yeah, we don't want to get overwhelmed. We want it to be a very intimate retreat. So September 27th through the 29th, if you're interested, email us at info@relationshipreinvented.com. I will send you a paper to fill out, and we'll discuss payment, and we'll get you here, or we'll get you from the airport, or unless you're driving in, we'll give you the address, and then we'll get you here, and we're going to have an awesome retreat. So let's get that done. We are just a few more minutes away, so let's find some.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that.
There's some stuff
It always is.
It's fine.
So yeah, it's last thing we want to do is go through that. So we will make sure that happens.
Yeah.
So that way, yeah, sometimes things just, finds a way. So anyway, fix that. There is a lot of this connection that I think we're going to tell you, like we've really been shown this, you can't find information outside of you for an inside connection. Mm-hmm. The questions and the answers and everything you're going through, the answers are in you. If you, just as I'd seen here, somebody actually is going through the pain, which I actually experienced, of telling myself that all women cheat, all women are going to hurt me, all women are going to do this. I went through it, and I'm telling you, it did nothing more than make me a cheater and make me somebody who resented a lot of things. And those things of resentment and the way that I felt had a lot to do with a broken heart, not necessarily to hurt other people, but when you're hurt, you hurt others. And then sometimes that's just one of those things where you got to step back and realize that hurt is something that if it's unleashed, or if you're crying out for help, ask for help. Don't ask for more hurt. Yeah. Because you'll prove yourself right. Especially if you're looking for an answer, and it be from the same energy that actually inflicted energy of hurt on you. So
I want to answer this question. It's calling out to me.
Okay.
Do you have new knowledge or downloads together still in union? Every single day.
Oh. Every
single day.
She has to reel me in. I'm gonna tell you like this. If Sherry literally has to look at me and go, people don't understand that. You have to say it differently. So we actually have to, the things that I get have so much part that she understands it, then she helps me find a way to translate it. Then it's gotten better. But I can still say things that just hit you in your soul, but your mind really doesn't want to comprehend it. And that's the way that I guess my gift works, is I want to speak to your soul. I really don't want to get in your head, because the soul's ultimately going to tell you, your head has been telling you a bunch of shit you don't need to listen to. Mm-hmm. So hopefully,
it's interesting because she said 8. Or did you say 8? No, 8. You said 8 for 8. The people that were coming out here, mm-hmm. And that
couples are invited as well. I mean, we like
but what she said, it's the universe. But what you would say, it's the universe that gave me that.
Yes.
8.
Yes.
Right. I felt that.
Mm-hmm.
Universe gave me 8. There's 8 people out there
that
the universe knows need to be here.
Yeah.
And that's just what we're following.
Yep.
That's just what we're
following. If you're interested in that retreat, we'll be putting together something. But I would tell you, if you're watching this video right now and you know that that's something you want to do, email us immediately. 8 slots. Once the 8 slots are gone, they're gone. We're going to probably do this again, but it's probably not going to be till either because the holidays and everything will probably be next year.
It's probably going to be
it's going to be a minute.
Fall's beautiful out here.
Oh, it took me forever to understand what Lee said. The biggest disconnect in connection is thinking for the other. When it hit me, I was like, yes, right. It does. It kind of just smacks you between the eyes, because the thinking is what causes us to be disconnected to begin with. We actually go into our thoughts and disconnect from ourselves already. it's going to make more and more and more sense to you that that's exactly what happens in this connection. And until you actually find a way to calm yourself down, to pay attention to your thinking, you will start to see the differences. If I'm not in my head, I can be in my heart. And your head literally is going to be, like Sherry always said, your head's always going to lie to you. Your body's always going to tell you the truth. That's the truth.
True story.
Yep. But anyway, we love you guys.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. I would if I could afford it. Single mom, that's a school teacher. Eek, manifesting a money breakthrough. I have followed you guys 6 years now. Well, you know what? You followed us for 6 years. You get a free session. Give us an email. We'll take care of you. Right?
Write her name down.
Yeah. Well,
Or
just
his.
make sure you put your Shell's healing journey in the title part there, and we will sit down with you. Hopefully, we can help you through some things.
Yep.
But thank you guys. Thinking is not a big. Here's the thing. Thinking is a big problem. Observe your thinking. Do not believe it.
Ugh.
Make sure you don't label anything with thought through judgment, because that's just more thinking. So thinking is not really a problem. It's able to be solved. We love you guys. We will. Well, wow. It's actually just about that time, isn't it? Like I said, 1:11. So if you guys need us, we're here. We're going to probably be doing something. Are we doing something again tonight?
We
You never
may.
know. We may.
We
just
may.
pop up. We're going to be doing pillow talk soon.
Yeah, we're gonna. Let's plug that for a second. That's
Pillow
gonna
talk?
be fun.
You
So
have 30 seconds to plug. Pillow
okay,
talk.
on our Patreon channel, this month we are gonna start pillow talk with Lee and Sherry. So we're gonna go to bed early. We're gonna be in our jammies in our bed, and we are going to, before we go to bed, we're gonna go live. And we're just going to have a little discussion for about 45 minutes on just some twin flame things.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on our Patreon page. If you haven't went to our Patreon page, we'll post the link.
The link is on there.
The link is on there.
Go to our about part of the section of this channel.
Go to about of the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing pillow talk with Lee and Sherry. That'll be fun.
Yes. We love you guys. We will see you soon. We're stopping at 1:11. See you soon.